We are watching the world realign before our eyes. The events now over the next 48 hours have the potential to rewrite history in a way that hasn't happened since 1979. Pictures from Amman, Jordan, and Beirut, where in the middle of the night there are mass quote-unquote protests outside of American embassies. Hezbollah, which controls Lebanon, meaning Beirut, says they will have an unprecedented day of rage tomorrow. There are fires right now burning outside of the embassy in Beirut. It's worth taking Hezbollah at their word. They are, after all, the ones who killed more than 200 U.S. Marines in Beirut. Things are dangerous as President Biden flies to Israel to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu. Chris Cuomo is in with us. Chris, this seems as though when I said that we'd be lucky to get out of this as just Gaza versus Israel, we'd be lucky. That was pretty optimistic.
Look, you know, as the experts will tell you, this is a fluid situation. Hezbollah has a lot more to lose than Hamas. It's one thing to have outrage on the streets. It's another thing to be throwing firing bombs across the border, which Hezbollah is doing. It's another thing to be all the way in as the largest non-state standing force in the region, which is what Hezbollah has. It is not Hamas, as people are getting their education here. And yet, I think that it is still very unclear about how this expands. I think it's unclear as to whether or not Israel is going to have a ground invasion in earnest. Why? Well, because they've been very slow to do that in the past. Why? Because Bibi Netanyahu, for the tough talk, and he is a tough guy, is very pragmatic about it. The American president going there is a very risky move. You know, I hear you making the comparisons to 1979. This is a very different dynamic. That was Iran, or really a student group in Iran that was a radicalized group taking over a U.S. embassy and really punching America in the face. We're not there right now with this situation. Could we be? Yes, but yeah. I think there's a lot to go here, a lot to go.
Oh, no, there's a long way to go, but I guess when I was there, I remember when the Israelis said we felt like we were on our own because Barack Obama had drawn the red line in Syria. Assad crossed it and used chemical weapons. Then he gave a speech and said, I'm not ordering military intervention. And the Israelis felt like they were on their own. The world is safer when America is at its strongest. And it never even occurred to me that the king of Egypt and the king of Jordan and the president of Egypt would cancel a meeting with the president of the United States and say, I don't want to see you. It blows my mind.
It certainly goes to what preparation there was for this and what kind of situation the president of the United States created for himself. But look, you know, any student of history will tell you it is not unusual for America's relationships in this part of the world to be dicey. You know, you could talk to past leaders of Pakistan. They felt betrayed. The reason the Taliban specifically targeted us wasn't just that America was messing in Afghanistan, but they felt that America was to blame for the suffrage in Afghanistan. You know, it is not unusual for Israel to be a little sideways with America in terms of how it's playing with other people in the region. So, you know, a degree of disappointment is going to be a function of self-interest. That is not as frightful to me as the fact that I don't know what the president is walking into right now. I'm not surprised that he's getting a cold shoulder. This is not like he was going to visit them on the eve of us going to war with Iraq, okay, or going into Afghanistan to root out terror groups. Israel is the great dividing line in the region. And you are right to be worried about what happens next, because I do not think we know.
Yeah, I think we can all agree we definitely don't know what's going to happen next. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.